Good morning, food lovers out there. Good morning, everyone. Good morning.
Good morning.
We have such a good morning. All right, good morning. It's a pleasure joining in. Okay, my name is Philip Hasise. I'll be your moderator for today's program. As you well know, this particular program is a webinar, and we'll be looking at post-COVID opportunities in the food industry. It's a pleasure to get all of you to come in today, and I believe that at the end of this particular meeting, we would have learned, a lot, would have gained a lot, would have had a lot of insights into how to run, you understand, into how to run our businesses. Okay, to all our stakeholders in the food industry, I'd like to let you know that you're welcome wherever you are transmitting from, wherever you're joining from. Thank you very much for taking our time today to join Etannei Ventures in her first webinar in the food industry. We'll be taking a 5 minutes break just to allow more people join in and to get a few things put together. Thank you. All right. Okay, let's take this program, let's run with it right now. Ladies and gentlemen, this program has been put together by Etannei Ventures, like I mentioned earlier, and there's a face to Etannei Ventures. I'd like to introduce the founder of this company to you right now, Miss Jenny Etta. Hello, Miss Jenny. Welcome to the program.
Hello, good morning. It's so good to be here for the maiden edition of the webinar. My name is Jenny Etannei, and I represent Etannei Ventures. We are chef, and we also are food consultants. We source, shop, and ship African food to the diaspora. And I believe that this is a webinar that you put together so that it's to impart Oh, okay. Hello again. This webinar has been put together to impact, encourage, especially because of the pandemic, which has actually hit everyone. We all know. We actually all know that everyone has been hit all over the world. And we've come together to put this package together for you to impact, to encourage, and to refire everyone in the food business. We have brought in seasoned speakers, actually, who are going to be speaking to you in various dimensions. Well, we have the area of finance, leadership, and the practice itself. You're going to be getting a whole lot. And I'm only imploring that you sit back with your notepads, your pens, take down notes. Really, there's a whole lot packed. You will enjoy this very webinar. Welcome again. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Jenny. It's great to have you. Okay, we all know that with, like Jenny said, with continuous rise and increase in consumer demand, tastes and preferences, you will agree with me that the food industry has its fair share of changing trends. We have also noticed that in the wake of the pandemic till date, the food industry have had to improve the quality of services rendered, particularly in the quick service restaurants. There's also the demand for more supply of daily consumables. A bit more attention has been trained, towards farming and other investments in that regard. Now you ask yourself the question, how can we position ourselves for these opportunities in the food industry? What should we do to get ready to tap into the opportunities that are constantly rising? How do we get finances to start off our businesses without being in debt? How can we manage and keep our businesses afloat, especially small-scale businesses? Are there more opportunities to tap from in this industry? What and where should I invest in? These are the many questions that, I believe have been going through our minds, and then seeking the opportunity to speak with people who have been, who have been in the industry and, wanting to get the best of, of what we do, and to also have a better projection. Now, to do justice to all this, I'm going to be introducing our first speaker, Dr. Seyi Olarenwaju. Dr. Seyi Olarenwaju is an astute, diligent, value-driven, and award-winning finance professional with over 20 years progressive experience in global multi-billion-dollar companies and a proven track record of success, leading all phases of diverse financial operations and services. Dr. Seyi he is known as an effective cross-functional team leader with creative problem-solving skills and decisiveness, fostering productive partnership with internal stakeholders and clients to achieve corporate goals, trimming operations and controlling costs to deliver substantial revenue growth in highly competitive business markets. He is interested in exciting opportunities where a combination of entrepreneurial drive and ownership mindset is encouraged, leveraging skills to contribute his own quota to overall organizational growth. He's also happily married with children. Ladies and gentlemen, please let's welcome on the platform Dr. Seyi Olarenwaju.
Good morning. Thank you very much, Philippa. It's my pleasure being here this morning to share some perspectives on financing your business post-pandemic. Small money, big gain. We all know that COVID happened, and this affected virtually all countries around the world. Many businesses in these various countries, took a big impact as a result of COVID and all that. So what people say is that, are we really out of COVID with what is currently happening? Some weeks ago, some days ago, what we are hearing is that the number has been on the increase. Some institutions are also beginning to shut down to curb the spread of COVID. But be that as it may, like I said, it affected many industries, which also include the food industry. But of course, we know that the impact of COVID on these companies differs depending on which industry you have. So from where I stand, I believe that the food industry is not deeply affected when you compare them to, say, aviation, another industry like that, entertainment, hotel business, and the rest of it. So, and what people say generally is that in COVID, though it brings up a lot of negative impacts, but if you look at it, you look inward, you will see the various opportunities that are in there. Some of the various opportunities we see in the food industry is that, they are not allowed to gather people, those ones that are into eatery, to bring people come and eat in and all that. But what we see that time is creativity. Some create online platform where you can order and you get those food delivered. Some create a driving where you can just drive by the office and you pick whatever and you go home and all that. For me, these are some initiatives that COVID, some opportunity that COVID has brought, to the table and all that. Going to my topic of today, which is financing your business post-COVID. I will say that to finance a business, we know that there are two general mediums by which you can finance a business. The first one is to finance the business through equity, while the next one is to finance the business through debt. When we say equity, we are saying the owner of the business is bringing in capital into the business to start the business. For many businesses, this is the best way of financing if the owner of the business, has got some cash to float the business from the scratch. However, when the business begins to grow, and there is need, for more fund, we always advise that the business can go borrowing, provided that you have done your estimation, your projection very well, and that you know that your revenue will surpass the expenses, including the interest you are going to pay on the debt you have taken on. So we say, go ahead. So usually you look at the business growth, you look at the customer, the targeted customer that you want to sell to, and you are persuaded that if additional funds come in, you will be able to scale up your business. So we advise that you do that. When a business has the mixture of equity and debt, we say that business is a geared company, or the business is leveraged because it's financed by both equity and debt. Like I said, equity is fantastic because the capital remains in the business as long as the business lives. And what you do to the owners, plus including yourself, if you have met other partners that have invested in the business, is to ensure that you run a profitable business so that at the end of the financial year, at the end of the business year, you are able to distribute some money in form of dividends to the owner. So you are not burdened. It means that if there is no profit, you will not have to, distribute dividend, because dividend is a function of profit. But again, you want to make the owners of the business happy by making sure that you run the business profitably, and at the end of the year, you are able to distribute dividend, profit in form of dividend. Then the other area is equity. Like I said, the other area is debt. Like I said, if you are not really propelled, if your business, you cannot sense any growth, it's not, necessary that you go and borrow, because it's going to be an additional body on the business. And at the end of the day, you will have to be running to pay the principal. You will also have to be running to pay the interest. We've seen many businesses that have failed just because the level of debt they have carried is more than what the business can carry. And before you know it, the creditors will come hard on them, and it will lead to liquidation and bankruptcy of the business, as the case may be. Now, still talking under these debts, there are various ways that are, that are open by which a business can fund their business through them that, are reasonable and are not likely to put extra burden of interest on you. One of them is to borrow from family and friends. In fact, that's the first one I introduce to anyone. If you have people that trust you, that believe in you, and that believe in the business you are doing in your family, they are the first go-to people. You can say, come and invest in my business. I promise you this return, or I promise you to pay back if it's in form of a loan. It's one of the surest ways that does not really add any additional burden. So that's one. Another one is to join a thrift or cooperative society, where you contribute, say, periodically, monthly or quarterly, and at the end of the day, you can borrow from the pool of funds that have been gathered together by the cooperative society. That one too, the interest rate is always single digits. So it's a viable form of borrowing for any business without unnecessary burden. Another one is contribution that Yoruba people will refer to as ajo. It's also a very viable way of raising money for your business without an additional burden of interest. Get like mind together, contribute on a monthly basis, and people pick differently. It has been proven that it's a way you raise fund for your business without interest burden. However, you must ensure that the people you have come together with to do this, they are reliable people. Not that when it's your turn, that's when people will be saying, I don't have money or something that happen. Another way of financing your business is through vendor payment management. Many people don't know this. When you have an agreement with your vendor to say, supply me this, I will pay you in 30 days. It's a way of financing your business. However, you must always keep to the terms of the payment so that you don't take your vendors for granted and they don't pull the plug when you need them most. So it's a way, when you plan it well, you enter into some form of credit agreement with them. In a way, you are using their fund to finance your business. And then another one is crowdfunding, where people collect generally, you collect money from people generally, and you promise them certain rate of interest, and you use that fund when it comes in, to put it in your business to scale up. That's one area. We've seen a lot of fintech companies, a lot of agriculture business doing this crowdfunding in recent times, and most of them have been very, very profitable. Then another one is bank loan, which everybody knows, is bank loan. You can also go to a bank to borrow money, although, it's with a double digits. However, there are some banks that focuses on SME that still give 1 digit to some businesses. I don't want to mention them, but there are some that will give you, 1 digit, up to about 9% or thereabout. If you tell them you are a business, you want to form business. Some even do specifically for female. And I know when we talk about food industry, the population there is more for female. So you can go to some of these banks, and tell them it's a female business or it's a woman business, and you need them to fund you. They will give you loan at 1 digit. One that is becoming very popular, especially in the fintech, is venture capital, where you raise equity fund through some private equity organization. In the last 2 years, fintech in Nigeria has raised hundreds of millions of dollars, to their businesses in Nigeria. So for me, I think it's another viable. To attract venture capital or even angel investors, we have some angel investors which are high network individuals. All they do is to support SME. And what they give to you, some come in form of equity participation, some come in form of a loan. Their rates are also very low. I will not also mention them. We have a number of them, across the place. So you can do venture capital, you can do angel investor, all you need to attract any of these two is, number one, you have a solid business plan and a solid financial management execution plan. Then you must also have solid target customers that we convince them that when they give you the money, you have people to service or you have people to deliver your goods to. Then another thing that is very key to them is proper bookkeeping. If you don't keep proper books of record, you may not be able to attract an angel investor or a venture capital. Then another thing they also look for is simple, basic corporate governance, within your business, within, the ambit of what you do. They look at stuff like, how do you recruit people? Is it that just bring your family member or you recruit on merit? Do you have little processes that guide your operations and all that? When you put all these little things in place, they are what attract the venture capital and the angel investors. Then we also have bond. For a small organization, bond and debenture may not really be applicable to you because, the processes are usually very big, and the process of raising the money are usually very tasking. So I believe that those ones I mentioned before bond are sure way that a small business, especially people in the food industry, they can raise funds for their business. Then I must also mention that we have a lot of government initiative to grow the SME space because we are clamoring for development. Nigeria is still a developing country, but the developed country we've seen around the world, what they do is that they focus more on SME. In fact, SME are the backbone of the growth in some of these countries that you see around that we refer to as developed country. So what Nigerian government has done in recent time is that they've also pushed out a lot of initiative to support startup and small businesses, through CBN, mandating banks to give out loan at single digit to some startup and some small businesses. Then through the Bank of Industry, to say for startup, still give them loan as low as 5 or 6%, as the case may be. So I want to employ us that we can also take advantages of some of these initiatives. I'm sure we are aware of trader money. We are aware of N-Power program. We are aware of the artisan money. All these are some of the initiatives that the government has put out there, to support the SME. And we can also take advantage of them. So these are some of the ways you can raise money. And like I said, a lot of people are willing to actually give money to startup and SME. In fact, what they say in the balance of investment these days is that capital, equity is homeless. They are looking for homes that will accommodate them. So if you package yourself very well, do a strong financial planning, show your strength, show your growth potential, and just do simple bookkeeping. I'm sure you'll be able to attract any of these funds that I've highlighted. That is what I have for you this morning. If you have any question, then I'm available to take them. Thank you very much. Sorry, Philippa, you are muted. We can't hear you.
Miss Philippa is going to join us.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Okay, so sorry about that. That was quite an insightful one, Dr. Seyi. That was really, really beautiful. Now, I'd like to say this to the participants joining in. If you have questions, please go to the, just raise your hand using the icons on your screen, so we know how many people are going to ask questions for Dr. Seyi to treat. Now, let me do a quick, from what I gathered, I took notes, and I believe a lot of us are taking notes. And one of the things, let me come back to something you said here. You said capital and equity is homeless. I hope you all heard that. That means there's money somewhere. There's big money somewhere that is readily going to be used, that is readily waiting to be invested into our businesses. So for all of us that are operating from the SMEs, money is out there. All we need to do is have solid plan in place, have solid business plan in place, and then put structure in place. I also got that business failed due to bankruptcy. So it simply means we can't take on too much. We need to check ourselves. Those are the things I gathered from the meeting. And I also, it made me laugh when you said the Ajo thing. Back then we used to look at it as it's a market people thing. But it's amazing that Dr. Seyi, threw light on it. So it's an important and valuable way of raising money. Are there questions? Okay, I have Adebayo Babade. Could you please ask your question, sir?
Yeah, thank you so very much. Yeah, my name is Ayobayo Babade.
Ayobayo. Oh, I'm so sorry, Ayobayo.
No problem, no problem. So I have three questions for Dr. Seyi Olarenwaju. Like I told you in the chat box, that's one of the sessions I was waiting for. And so the first is on debt to finance a business. Last month, I approached a commercial bank in Nigeria to seek certain funds or loan, and the representative clearly confided that with the rate of the way things are in the economy, that it is not advisable for small businesses to go into debt to finance their operations. And assertion was like a large number, about 92% of small businesses who approach them for loan end up not paying or having difficulties or issues paying. So she advised that one should seek other sources. Yeah, so I've heard the problem, like based on, and I look at the reality of Nigeria and the way it is. So I'm like, what's your honest opinion on a small business looking to upskill and seeking loan from the commercial bank? That's the first one. Then the second one is that the fact that there are quite a number of people who have tried to access funds from the government. How we've been allowed to be as expressive as we can, which is that the current administration, people have tried to access the various funds or monies that you mentioned, but a large number of people have not been able to access it based on the fact that it only is a bit, you have to be politically connected or have something to do in certain circles to be able to have access to those funds. So how can one who has no link or connection have access to those funds? That's just the second question that I have in that regard. And then the third one is on the fact that, on you personally, knowing I always like to do a bit of reading on speakers and knowing who you are in your field. Is there anything you can do to make the government to commit more towards supporting SMEs in Nigeria, especially SMEs in the food industry? These are my questions, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ayobayo. What a fantastic name, unique. I
Thank
think
you,
I'm
sir.
hearing this for the first time.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Your first question, talking about seeking bank loan, you approached a bank and all that.
Yes, sir.
I will strongly advise that if there is no need to borrow, do not borrow. And I use that word very carefully. If you notice, I said one surest way is to do equity and all that.
Yeah.
But if you are very sure that there is a growth potential that the business cannot fund, and you have prospect, you have pipelines and all that, then you can go and borrow to be able to do that. You know, you see, it depends on how you put your business plan together that will make a bank, that will convince a bank to either give you loan or not. Like you rightly mentioned, during COVID, banks suffered from the loans they gave to small and medium scale enterprises. And majority of the reason is not really the fault of the SME. What happened is that COVID happened and it took them out. You understand me? So that's why banks are skeptical to giving loan out now to SME. And that's why they will advise, and all that. But I'm saying there are some you will still go to. If they see your business plan, they will give it to you. But let's make it a last resort. Why don't you consider the family and friends I mentioned? Why don't you join a cooperative society and borrow at 5%? Why don't you do contribution? I mentioned, I think do that scale of preference and arrange it in that scale before you say, okay, I will do bank. And the reason is because of the burden of interest. Some commercial bank will not even give you 1 digit. It's only specific ones that have product for startup and SME that are doing something under 1 digit. So that would be my advice in that regards. Then the second one, you said is cumbersome to get, to partake in this government initiative. I won't lie to you, that's a lot of people have complained about that. It's a Nigerian thing, as you know. Politicians, they use it as a basis to securing votes of people and all that. But again, one way people have been penetrating through this, is that they go through association. We have a number of association, MSME, and some other ones. If you go through them, it's a lot easier to be able to access than going as an individual. If you are not politically connected, like you said, which is just a Nigerian factor. So I will suggest you go through an association and let them, fund for you. They usually give them when, such happen. Then the last one, what can I do in my capacity,
Yes, sir.
To say government should do more? I belong to a couple of professional association and institutes. So what we do, or what I do personally, is that I put my suggestion through this professional association and to the government. So when we do symposia, we do conferences, we use those channels through our communique to say, government, you need to do more to SME if you are looking for the desired growth that we are shouting. SMEs, startup, small businesses, they are the backbone for any development in any country. So we do it, as an individual. When I have opportunity like this, I speak out, and through those associations, I also make my voice known. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Seyi. We have one hand raised. That's Elizabeth Alfred. Could you please unmute yourself and ask your question? Elizabeth Alfred, you still there? All right, I think we may. Please unmute and ask your question, Elizabeth Alfred.
Good morning, everyone. Hello,
Good morning.
can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you clearly.
Okay, good morning, everybody, and thank you for the program. Yes, I'm going straight to my question. I just want to buttress what Mr. Ayobayo said about the government initiative funds. I myself have applied for several, and up to now, none is forthcoming. like what our facilitator said about going through some groups. Yes, I belong to some groups too. I joined through EDI, but still nothing is coming forth. So if at any capacity, we can kind of plead to government to monitor it, that those kind of funds reach the final use. I mean, reach the micro business entrepreneurship hand. That will be more better than just release the fund and let it go just like that. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Elizabeth. Dr. Seyi, do you want to add more contributions to what you said?
You are spot on, my sister. Just like I said, it's a Nigerian thing. And we are praying that one day we have selfless leaders, that will enable some of this initiative to get to the common man on the road without any political affiliation. But like I said, I sympathize or empathize with you because you said you've tried, even through some association. Maybe what I can also do is to give some name of association that I know I've been able to help their members to the organizer, and they can at some fora share it with you. You can also try those people because I know they've been able to help their own members.
Are there more questions? I'm not seeing. Okay. All right. Thank you so very much, Dr. Seyi. It's been a pleasure having you come on the platform to educate us on how to handle finances and how to raise funds to support what we do. Thank you so very much. All right. Without much ado, we'll be moving on quickly to other speakers, and we have a fantastic woman in the house, and let me just simply say she is Madam Leadership. Permit me to say that, ma'am. Okay, speaking with us on how to manage losses through effective leadership, we will be listening to Madam Susan Chisom. Now, Susan Chisom is a trained management consultant with extensive experience and expertise in developing and managing training programs, conferences, seminars, and workshops. She has led and participated in several projects on re-engineering, relationship management, strategic planning, organizational design, and she's also involved in various public and private sectors, in Nigeria. And she's a CEO of TrainWise Limited and currently runs her training in Nigeria, South Africa, London, and Dubai. She is the provost of Nehemiah Leadership Institute and also the founder of Be Wise Initiative, an NGO, helping youth to achieve their full potentials by coaching and mentoring them as well, reorienting people towards making the right decision for the betterment of Nigeria and the world. Ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome Susan Chisom.
Thank you so much, Philippa. Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear.
All right. Thank you so much, Philippa. I truly appreciate this. And I thank you, Jenny Etta, for inviting me to come and speak. And I also want to, say hello to my co-speakers, Dr. Seyi Olarenwaju. Thank you for that beautiful presentation. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. And also to Mrs. Kehinde Kamson. It's a great pleasure meeting you all today. I want to thank God for everyone that is present here today. I have been given the assignment to speak on managing losses through effective leadership. Now, during the pandemic, a lot of businesses closed. A lot of businesses were affected. And even before the pandemic, People have been complaining the economy is not too good and all that. Then the pandemic came and worsened the situation. Now, my question to us today is, have you made losses in business? Have you suffered any loss in business? I personally will say I have. And I would like to take a quote from David Sikozana, a South African. You know, he is the chairman of DSH in Johannesburg. He is also a filmmaker. He said something: losses are necessary as long as they are associated with a technique to help you learn from them. Losses are necessary. The thing there is how you handle it is what matters. As a leader, how do you handle losses? I don't want to go into the nitty-gritty of leadership here. I know that for you to have your own business, you are a leader. If you are a married man, you are a leader. You are a woman here, you are a leader. You have children, you are a leader. Anywhere you find yourself, you are a leader. You know, that leadership trait you have in you. We are talking about managing losses. I want to let us know that making losses is part of making money. Yes. Making losses is part of making money. If you are not prepared to lose money, then you should not stay in business. I am not saying be ready, you know, to make a loss. No, that is not what I'm saying. Sometimes it comes. Let's even take, for example, the food industry. You may go to a food vendor, you know, they may cook beautiful, you know, menus and all that. At the end of the day, they may not finish selling everything. Who is at loss? I know an eatery, when they don't finish selling what they have, they start, they eat up the whole thing because they will not sell that the next day. I believe Madam Sweet Sensation will attest to that. Who is at a loss? If you are not ready, if you're not prepared to lose money, then you should not stay. You should stay out of business. But I'm not saying you should stay in business deliberately to lose money. No, that's not what I am talking about. We need to pay attention to our decisions, for they will determine the losses that we will experience or the losses we will avoid. Paying attention to your business, to details, matter a lot. You pay attention. You know, I would like to give example of what happened to me. Let me even say it here. I also do food packaging. Etannei doesn't know this. I'm just saying it for her to hear. I am also in the food industry. I have about 18 products that I package, food packaging. Now, there was a time a friend of mine about 5 years ago, she told me, oh, there's this friend of mine, a sister of mine in the UK. She has a good outlet. Please, you can supply her everything she needs. She gave me her details. I called her. She said, please, can you send me a container load of Indomie and other elubon and so many things, palm oil and all that. I said, well, which is good, I can do that because I have sent a lot of consignment to the UK and the US, you know, in small quantity, not as much as she needed. So I called her. I said, please, after going for the market research and all that, I found out that it was a lot of money. You know, I was also looking at the income that will come in because pounds had risen to like 600 and something then, about 5 or 6 years ago, yes. So what happened was that when I called, I said, look, just like Dr. Olarenwaju said, talking about vendor participation, vendor partnership participation. I called, I said, please, the money here is huge. Could you please put in some equity so that, we can get this done? She was saying, no, I will pay on arrival. She has a good track record though, but she needed me to supply before that. So I said to her, sorry, I can't do this. I was trying to decide because I've never done something that huge before. Decisions. Do you know 2 months after, pound sterling crashed from 600 to 400 and something? If I had gone into that business, only God would have saved me from the losses I would have made. So paying attention to your decisions, very, very important. As a leader, you need to handle that, okay? Losses do not make you a loser. Please note that. Losses do not make you a leader, a loser, but how you handle losses is what matters. How you respond to your business troubles is what shapes your leadership role. How you handle it. Do you blame people? I know I have made losses in the past in business, even in training. How do you handle it? Do you blame people? Oh, because you did not do this, you did not do that. Wait, this happens to us. No, as a leader, you shouldn't do that. You must even comfort your employees. You might say, those people, they are difficult people. We can, yes. The way you handle them, even if you are paying them 10,000 naira, 20,000 naira. But if there is a relationship, between you and your staff, you relate one-on-one, you have good rapport, they will trust you. The way you handle them, because I hear a lot of people say, they don't say they are wicked, they are this. Yes, we know there are some people like that, but you need, as a leader, to encourage them to come, even when you are at a loss, things happen, Also, you must satisfy your customers. Satisfaction is key in business. For you not to make a loss, even when you are making a loss, but your customers must be satisfied. Again, Dr. Olarenwaju spoke about, investors and all that. You must also assuage the blow of your investors as a leader. And in business, you must try to keep these 3 components, your employees, that's your staff, your customers, and probably the investors. In one of the trainings that I had, please help me, because in sharing examples, you bring the message close home, Now, there was an experience I had. I had this training, we run overseas training, and there was this company, a government agency, we train for the government and all that. So they had sent 2 participants to join us. And while we were preparing, they made their payments and all that. Then we were charging about 2,500 pounds, which was about 375 naira then, So then pounds was about 150 naira to a pound. So what happened was that one of the participants did not come, only one came. By the time we returned to Nigeria, their human resource training department requested that we refund the money. But because we wanted to build a relationship with them, we don't usually do that. That was the first time they were coming for our training. So what happened was that we told them not to worry. We returned the money. We decided to build a relationship with them. We satisfied them. Normally, we do not do that. It's not part of our policy. We should have held on to the money for them to send a replacement or somebody in future, but we returned the money. Later on, they sent us a lot of participants, and we benefited from that. You must satisfy your customers. It is very key. You must satisfy them. And all this you must do with style and professionalism that leaves everyone satisfied and in admiration on how you handle situations. So it is very important. Even if you make a loss, you go to the corner of your room and you weep, you cry. Oh, I made a loss. And that must not be known. Yes, as a leader, there are some things you must handle without the knowledge of your customers and all. Okay? So I would also say that losses do bring some advantages. Yes, they bring some advantages. Quickly, let me just say the best way to reduce losses in your business. Every company wants to make profit as high as possible and minimize losses. That is why you are in business. That is why we are in business. To maximize profits and minimize loss. So my question to us today is, why are you in business? Why are you in business? That is the question you must answer. Your vision must be clear. No matter how big your company is, one has to always look at the business basics. Do you have a business plan? Dr. Olarenwaju mentioned that. You must build on your business plan to reduce losses. Having a strong business plan is your first step towards ensuring that your company will survive. What you should do as a starter or as an entrepreneur is that a good business owner will constantly assess their plans. What plan do you have? Assess it all the time. Update strategies as the need arises. What have I done today? What have we done this time? What should we do? And all that. Updating and also looking at where you have fallen short. It will help you a lot. Again, I would want to say that you must be positive. Positivity is something that, yes, okay, I am not in business to make any loss. I am not in business to make a loss. Even if it comes, I will handle it with care. I will handle it with care, even if it happens. Remember, when you want to when you want to do something, it may be 50-50. You may plan, oh, this will happen. I will make so and so profit. It does not come like that all the time. Be positive. Something happened to me some years ago, about 10-15 years ago. We were planning to go, we had a training actually in South Africa. We're planning to go that very day. So I called a bank, they nominated 2 people to come for the training. What happened was that I thought their protocol officers said everything will be ready. By the time I called them to tell them, oh, we will meet at the airport, they said, sorry, we don't have our visa. Ha! You don't have a visa to travel. You have paid, and we have made arrangements for you. At whose expense? About 12 noon that day, the day we were traveling, because I looked at it, how am I going to return 5,000 pounds to who? That is a loss for us. I decided, I said, God, this money, these people must travel with us today. I called the South African embassy. I requested to speak to a woman there, who happens to be one of their leaders, their organs there. I begged her. I said, please, I don't want to chop base. Please help me. These people from this bank, they do not have, they give them appointment for Monday. Program starts on Saturday for 10 days. When we did travel, after pleading with her, it was just gone. She said, okay, come. I called them immediately. Protocol officer, the participants meet me at South African Embassy. We ran down there. By the time I got there, it was about 1. I said, where are the passport? I gave her the passport. Under 1 hour, I have never seen that thing happen to me before. She gave us the visas. Under 1 hour. Ha! So protocol officer ran to the office, bought their tickets, made arrangements. We traveled that day. That is talking about being positive, being positive. I said to myself, how will I return the money? At whose expense? It would have been a great loss for us. It is very important for us to reduce losses, for us to be positive, to build on our business plans, to use modern technology. We have a lot. So thank God for Zoom now. We are all here. You can sell online, use, do things that have not been done before. Again, one last thing I would want to say is insurance. We don't like to pay for services in this country. We don't. Insurance is key. We have to. I'm not holding brief for any insurance company. Please note that. 2 weeks ago, I went to send something to Benin. The person I was sending it to said, go to the park, give to this. I said, no, I can't do that. What I was sending was worth 220,000 naira. How can I go and drop it at the park? If they remove one thing, will you pay? I went to GIG. I use logistics companies a lot. Logistic companies, I use them a lot. So I went to GIG. By the time I got there, what would have cost me like 2,000 to give to them at the park? I paid 7,000 something. They said you must pay for insurance. I said yes, because if anything gets missing, you will pay. You are having good environment. You insure few things that that are important to you. Okay, insurance is very important. Not that I'm saying if you have a big shop, please insure. I have an auntie in my local market. I told her, please insure. Insure she has goods worth over 50 million. If fire happens, if there's fire, who will you cry to? Insurance is very important. No matter the level we are at, as you grow, please try and take insurance. In conclusion, I would like to take this simple quote by Ezra. He was born in Israel and a philanthropist, a speaker, an entrepreneur. He said something. You have been brainwashed to only look at your losses. Why losses? We don't have to focus on losses. Focus on profits. Focus on the strength that you have. Even if losses come, because you have stood, how do we say it in Nigeria, gidigba, you can absorb it, no matter the situation. Okay, so don't look at losses. Oh, who knows? Is it profitable? Will they buy? If you keep looking at that, you won't be a business, my brothers and my sisters. So it's very important for us, to look at the positive part of business and not saying that, oh, there will be a loss today or this way not work and all that. Okay, so no experience is a waste. Those you may have, suffered loss in one way or the other, or you've read about people that have suffered losses. It is not a waste. It is for your good. It is for my good. Okay, I would like to tell us that we should continue to read and learn from the experiences of those that have suffered losses. Then that will push us to our next level. Okay? There are so many opportunities in the food industry. I want to encourage us, take advantage of those opportunities. Thank you so very much. Thank you. Over to you, Philippa. God
Thank you
bless you.
so very much, Bam. Thank you so very much. This is quite insightful. Okay, this is very informative as well. I mean, I wouldn't know what we'll be doing if we're not taking notes right now. But, ma'am, I doff my hat. Now, let me run through a few things that I gathered. The pandemic affected everyone, both locally and internationally. Losses are necessary as long as they are geared towards positive means. If you're not prepared to lose money, then you have no need to be in business. That I learned. Pay attention to the decisions that are taken, because there lies our gains and our losses. You are not a loser if you lose in business. I got that, ma'am. Also, do not blame people when issues of loss occur. It doesn't make us great leaders when we try to trade blames. Now it says customer satisfaction is key. I believe we gained some of these things. Also, I learned that we have to review the things that make us lose in business, update strategies, look at where we've fallen short, and work towards making things better. Now, this is the point where we get to raise our hands and ask questions. Madam Chisom is here. Please permit me to put Madam. So, question time. If you have questions, please raise your hands and unmute yourself. I'll call you once I see your hands raised. Okay, ma'am, let me say this. You said it's okay to lose in business. I don't think I want to lose money. How would I live with myself? So when you said it's okay to lose money, it's scary. It's scary, ma'am. And I know, for people who are in small businesses like I am, we try to get money pull money together from family members and all of that.
Muted, so you are muted. Please unmute.
I can hear you very clearly, ma'am.
No, you were muted. You were muted. Okay, you said no. Who wants to lose money? Nobody wants to lose money.
Nobody wants to lose money, man.
Nobody wants to lose money. But sometimes losses happen. Because they happen does not mean that you will stop production or you stay out of business. You have to be prepared. Taking risk. Business is risk. Coming into business is risk. You are taking a risk. You are taking a risk. Dr. Olarenwaju talked about, how you can raise funds. You may raise funds through your friends, through family, from the bank. What happens if you are not taking the money to go and squander the money, or you start something that is not profitable, or you become negligent with the trust given to you? Sometimes losses happen. When they happen, You have to have that mind. Oh, let me handle it okay. Let me keep my head, my mind together. Because you may love, one thing I always tell people is that never love the business, love doing the business. You have to love doing the business. Because you may decide to cling onto something, maybe rice cooking. You like it, you love it, and your customers do not like it. Because you love it does not mean that your customers will like it. What you should do, because in that area, your customers will come into your shop. Oh, I'm not eating rice, or I'm not eating a wagoi, or I'm not eating yam. In that area, you have to learn from that area. Oh, more people eat moi. So let me make more moi. Because you have some losses may come from that angle. But you should not give up. You have to identify, these are the areas that I am gathering losses. So let me skip that area and concentrate on the areas that are more profitable. Nobody enters any business to make losses. No. You don't enter, just like Ezra said, you don't have to look out for losses. Look out for the positive aspect. Look out for the profit area, the areas that will profit. I don't like it. I had to go and beg the woman, please, I don't want to lose this money. We have made provisions for that. Please help me. Because nobody wants to make it loss. Okay, I hope that explains it.
I have Yetunde Adeniro. You raised your hand. Please unmute yourself and ask your question quickly. Yetunde Adeniro. We also have Anthony Abomike.
Good morning,
Is Yetunde ready?
Yes,
okay,
ma.
Good morning, Yetunde. Let's have your question very quickly.
All right, ma. Thank you for the message. It's well understood. Okay, ma. My question is, how can I package a business that is already in existence?
How can I
and still make profits? Because a lot of people are into that business now. A business in a new way, and I'll still make my money and make profits, because a lot of people are into that business and they were like, if you venture into it, is something that everybody can do on their own, and people are still doing it. But I want to enter in a new dimension, something that is unique from what others do. I don't know how you can just give me advice on how to package it in a new way and still make my profits. Thank you, ma.
Okay, thank you. Let's take Anthony's question, then Madam Chisom will answer both. Anthony, unmute yourself and let's hear you.
Yeah, thank you very much, ma'am. I'm very grateful. Thank you, Mami Chisom. We are blessed with your teaching this morning. Mama, please, my question is, can you highlight more of the advantages in losses? Can you highlight more so that we can get that? Lastly, please, my network has been failing for a while. I don't know if we will be having access to this recording. Thank you. God bless you, ma'am.
All right, thank you so very much. Let me begin with Yetunde Adeniro. You said, how can you package what everybody is doing? How can a lot of people are doing? Let's even take example. Let's take, for instance, you want to package, let's say Gary. Yeah, Gary is all over in the market. Have you been to the supermarkets? You see those that are packaged well. Gary, the same Gary that you can go to the market, you buy the paint bucket. Now Gary is expensive. You buy the paint bucket for 1,200 naira. And you get to the store, and this same thing is selling for, let's say 1,008 or 1,005 or 1,006. It's the same garri. Okay? You don't say because a lot of people are in that business, a lot of people are packaging garri, so I won't package garri. Everybody, the business is, how do I put it now? The market is huge for everybody. The market is huge for everybody. Not everybody will go to Yaba market to buy kunkolo or the bucket of garri. You will buy it, package it, send to those that will need it. One thing, you have to carve out your own niche. This is the area that I feel that people need help. This is the area where I think people, they need my service. Carve out your own niche. Check out what people need. Somebody like me, I find it difficult. I don't cook all the time. I don't cook all the time. I have somebody that cooks for me. She cooks stew for me. She cooks soup, different soup. I tell her, please fry this, fry chicken, turkey, fish, or barbecue. I put them in the freezer. So that is how we roll. But the point I'm trying to make, the market is huge. Don't say people are doing it. If they are doing it in Egbeda, you are in Akwonjo, you can do your own. You have to even look beyond your community. Go out there. I always tell people, don't look, I went to a program where they were doing vocational training. I saw beautiful hats that people made. I looked at those hats. I said, wow, are you still within this environment? Please look beyond where you are, your environment, look beyond Lagos. Start looking at importing these things. In the UK, they wear a lot of hats. The royal family, they wear hats. When there was marriage in, when any of them, when they are getting, anybody that will come into church must be wearing hats. The hats we make here, they are beautiful. Don't say because people, the place, it's not overcrowded. People need your service. Again, the way you will package it will determine how far you will go. Good packaging will determine how far you will go. All right, let me quickly look at Anthony's, you said what are the advantages, in losses. Now, I gave an example. If you are in the food industry, like you have an eatery, you have, an eatery. You cook, yeah, you cook. In fact, let me use this example. Yeah. You see, when KFC came to Nigeria, before they came to Nigeria, I said, because I visit them, each time I travel, I like their crunchy chicken and I said, these people will not sell when they come to Nigeria. They will not sell when they come to Nigeria. Yes, KFC. So when they came into Nigeria, what they do, chicken and chips and burger sometimes. Chicken and chips, yeah. I said, if these people do not put rice in their menu, they won't sell. Check out all the eateries, KFC. They make rice. That is not their original plan. Because if they had come in making just chicken and chips, they will run at a loss. They will certainly run at a loss. If you know that this area, this production, what you were doing in this area, I am cooking yam, I'm cooking beans, I'm cooking garri, whatever. This one is not selling well. Look at it, assess it. Why is it not selling? People do not eat much of eba. Somebody like me, I don't eat eba. Eba will be my last resort. If there is no pounded yam, there is no, what do they call it? other kind of swallow. Eba is my last resort. I'll go further. But if you know that you take advantage of that, oh, this is not selling, this will sell better. Let me put my energy in cooking rice, jollof, fried rice, and whatever. Or let me spend more. Just like I mentioned, I have like 18 products. Do I concentrate on the 18 products? Not at all. I have a flagship product. And there are some, I don't do more than 10 or 12, especially during, the Christmas season. I try to do all of them and use for gifts. But the point I'm trying to make is there are advantages you can take. Oh, this is not working well, so I won't do it anymore. You may plan, that may be your initial plan. Let me start with this. And you see that it's not moving. Stop that. Go into areas that, like when we started, we used to run overseas training, like when it was not happening again. We had to, diversify. When you know that there are losses in this area, take advantage of this. An advantage you have learned not to concentrate in that area. You can diversify into another area that will make you, better, that will bring more profit to you, and you will minimize loss. Okay, diversification is key because that will help you. You are making losses in this area. Let me focus in another area. Thank you so much. Any other question?
Do we have any
Over
other
to you,
questions?
Philippa. Over to you, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so very much, ma'am, for all this wealth of knowledge that you have deposited on us. I think right now, I feel as if I have lead in me. From the weight of the knowledge, it's really beautiful. And I believe for everyone participating in today's program, you actually are gaining a lot today. You're gaining a lot today. Thank you so very much, ma'am. All right. Well, quickly before I call up the next speaker, I'd like for someone who has actually been listening in to tell me the name of our first speaker. Do you remember the name of the first speaker? Am I seeing hands raised? Our hands raised? Okay, Olajide, unmute yourself and tell me the name of our first speaker.
Our first speaker is Dr. Seyi Olarenwaju. I don't know if you heard me.
I heard you loud and clear. Now, could you tell me from the list of things he mentioned about those ways you can raise money without being under pressure?
Okay. He mentioned family and friends. He mentioned Ajo. He mentioned vendor payment management.
Oh, this is our fantastic students. A round of applause, see?
Yeah.
I'm clapping for you physically.
Yeah,
Right.
and he said something about single digit loan. And one thing that I am not going to forget about what he said was that he said, capital and equity is homeless. They are looking for businesses to stay with. I really enjoyed that.
I hope you have a business that's
of course I do.
In the offing that the homeless equity and capital are looking for.
Well, I may not have built it up to that stage, but of course, capital and equity have been coming to me. And so there is a business that is tracking them.
That's great to know. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much.
All right. Now, quickly, I'll be introducing our final speaker for this program, and that's by the person of Mrs. Kehinde Kamson. Now listen, Mrs. Kamson is the founder and chief executive officer of Sweet Sensation, Nigeria. She's also the president of the Restaurant and Food Services Proprietors Association of Nigeria. And that's the umbrella body of all quick service restaurants in Nigeria. She is a chartered accountant and a member of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria. In a bid to spend more time with family, she quit her day job to venture into business. And that has become a hallmark of quick service restaurants with over, 20 branches and 2,000 employees. And that's business called Sweet Sensation. And it's one of the most successful brands in Nigeria's business community. Over the past 20 years of Sweet Sensation's existence, Lady K, as she's fondly called, supports individuals and organizations across Nigeria with the intention of helping them overcome financial, material, and intellectual barriers. Her love for children, and particularly special needs children and related institutions, prompted the Sweet Sensation Education Support Scheme, which has served thousands of such in Lagos and beyond. She is the author of Pots, Pans, and Spoons, written in 2011. She is a motivational speaker and a hope messenger to women and youth in general. She is married to Sir Olarenwaju Kamson, KJW. She's a proud mother of 5 children and 5 grandchildren. She believes that learning must be lifelong, but the lessons of the earliest years are critical. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Mrs. Kehinde Kamson.
Good morning, or is it still, it's still morning. Good morning to the house. I am indeed very glad to be here. I hope everybody can hear me. Okay, I assume you can hear me. Okay, okay. With due respect, I recognize the earlier speakers for a wonderful job done in their presentations. And I am sure that will definitely impact on the audience here today. Not just the audience, I myself, I am very positively impacted. I'm definitely going to take on those financial services that are available that Dr. Seyi Olarenwaju has mentioned. And I'm going to adopt some of the management techniques that Madam Chisom has mentioned. Believe it or not, there is nothing they have said that there isn't something to learn from. So I have just 15 minutes to speak on the sweet and sour story of Sweet Sensation. But before you begin to think that it's about woes and about great things all mixed together, this is supposed to be from the perspective of a post-COVID environment. And a post-COVID, but we cannot even say we are post-COVID. But in relation to where we started from, we can actually say that the situation of things, the environmental situation and the economic situation right now is much better than we originally started with when COVID set in. So I am so glad that Etannei decided to call up this, to put up this webinar. And I'm sure that it will impact aspiring food value chain operators. And this will distinguish the people who benefit from this webinar from the people who have chosen not to take advantage of this kind of experience that is put on the table here today. So I go straight to the point. I want to talk about being in the right place at the right time. I also want to say categorically that, true, this is COVID time, but indeed, there's many things that COVID has done to business practitioners, particularly those that are members of REFSPAN, which is the Restaurant and Food Services Operation Practitioners of Nigeria. That's the umbrella body for all restaurants in Nigeria, whether it be quick service restaurants or it be regular restaurants. That's the one and only fully recognized umbrella body for these restaurants. I want to recommend that anybody who wants to join a food business, who wants to begin a food business, who wants to enhance their food business, must join REFSPAN. It is not a selling gimmick for REFSPAN. It is just the most sensible thing to do, because under REFSPAN, it's an advocacy platform to do so many things. It's an opportunity platform. It is the platform by which we interface with government and we bring opportunities to the table for restaurant owners. So therefore, it is a platform that will definitely set your operation aside, make you totally different in your style and manner of operation and in the opportunities that come thereunto. So I go back to talk about the 27 years of restaurant experience. What do we see in post-COVID? You know how COVID started, where it was a precipitous drop in turnover. It was a free fall in operations. In fact, restrictions will not even allow you to open your business. Not only that, there was restrictions to even the movement of raw materials at that time. Today, the restrictions have been lifted and things are moving on fairly well. Of course, there will always be all the environmental issues that affect our nation and our business in Nigeria. You know that just as COVID was taking its own turn, the insecurities in Nigeria followed. You see, in Nigeria, we're used to so much problem that we even forget to recall the sequence in which these problems emerged. So insecurities in Nigeria is combination of herdsmen problems, combination of kidnapper, combination of terrorism. Everything came and has coupled with COVID to make the business environment very harsh. And that is not without the underlying problems of energy, very poor roads, very poor logistic infrastructure. And that is what I will call the sour part, not just of Sweet Sensation, but of all businesses in Nigeria. But you know what? From challenges, from adversity, is where we all find strength. If we know that there is a problem, then indeed we're going to put things in place to ensure that those problems are solved. So you can't just look at the problems and give up. You have to look at the problems and look at how you will surmount them. As the earlier speaker said, you cannot say because of losses, you will not sit around to make gains. Losses are just as good fast trackers for gains as anything else is. The only thing that must not happen is that losses must not be continuous. They must not drag down the gains you make. So I would even add to that and say that some losses are permissible as long as they in their entirety, they bring about profit to other areas of your operation. And I'll come to that later. So now, post-COVID, Yes, we know there's still the threat of the effect of the third wave, which is really, really scaring everybody, because the third wave has done terrible things all over the world. It has been noted in Nigeria to have begun to spread. Yes, the Delta variant has started spreading in Nigeria. Now, given that scenario, what does that do to the restaurant environment, the industry? And given the other things that are a background to the environment that we all operate in, everybody, every business sector is operating under these environments, it's simple. Everybody needs to sit up and do something. The rising insecurity, the mistrust between East, North, South, and West, the scarcity of many input materials become scarce. Fish produced in Nigeria, fish that is farmed, that is harvested from Nigerian waters can never meet up with the demands of the Nigerian population. So we see some good things done by government. Rice production is a great thing that has happened. At least it has reduced our dependence on imported rice significantly. How we cope with rice production is another problem. So we do have scarcity of raw materials also, snails, cows, sometimes are a problem with all these herdsmen issues and prices around the place. And so many things come together to make this story a sweet and sour one. But can I say this? Why do we have a meal called sweet and sour beef, or sweet and sour chicken, or sweet and sour fish in Chinese cuisine? It's because the sour comes to make things sweet. And that is why we have sweet and savory products. That's why we have sweet popcorn. And that's why we have savory popcorn. And this may although it is illustrative in a way, figurative in a way, but that is exactly what makes business click in Nigeria. You rise above your challenges and use them as stepping stones to your successes. Without those challenges, you can never be successful. Because what happens with over successful businesses is that they become so slack, they become so assumptuous that things will continue to be the same. While others are struggling with their challenges and learning to be better, businesses that have taken things for granted will just find that they will fall for those other businesses to rise above them. So I want to say that in looking at post-COVID, I will call this time post-COVID, not that we are not still in COVID, but it's the best way to describe it in comparison to where we were coming from. And we just hope that we will not go back to the really, really serious restrictions that were. We can only pray and protect ourselves as well that the Delta variant doesn't do any serious harm in our business environment. Nigeria is even the way it is today is a miracle. Everybody thought the normal COVID-19 would have done more disaster, but that tells you that there is a factor in the way God manages us and the way we manage ourselves in Nigeria. So I want to say that post-COVID has created so many responses by operators, and that is the key things we want to share with each other today. You would see that there has been a lot of changes, reforms from all these down times. The crisis is indeed the true catalyst for change. So the side benefits of COVID are what we are seeing today. The side benefits are numerous. First of all, member, or should I say, practitioners have had to reform their businesses. Lots of reforms, and only reforms can secure sustenance and excellence. They have learned to make beauty from ashes. Operators began adopting new business models, began to revamp all their virtual and telephone access to food delivery. So a lot of food delivery is taking place now. A lot of people are revamping their virtual marketing systems. Social media has come to play and to stay. Even what we are doing here right now, like one speaker said, is one of the beautiful outcomes of COVID. Well, even when COVID goes and is overcome completely, we're still going to be Zooming. I will tell you for sure, as at this moment, I work 3 days from my house virtually. Whereas on a daily basis, I would either do it before COVID, I would either have to be in my office or be going around the locations. But now we've learned to do a lot of work virtually. And these are some of the things that we must take advantage of as anybody who wants to be part of the food value chain in whatever kind of business we want to be. We must take advantage of social media. We must take advantage of virtual and new ideas of reaching out to people so that we can reboot our systems. A lot of operators came up with car park services. You can sit down in your car and have your things brought out to you in your car. A lot of operators tried to install, to remodel for drive-through. A lot of operators have had to even get closer. They change the style that they do things. The way we go to market, the way we communicate with our customers is no longer like before. We're coming up closer to our customers, you know, trying to invade the heart of our customers for good. We're even suggesting weekly, monthly management of their meals. We're telling customers we can package for you in little containers that you can freeze, you can take out daily as bachelors or as spinsters who don't like to cook all the time. And there's a lot of reforms, a lot of creative. Businesses cannot remain static, not in this world that we are today. We have to keep on opening the, excuse me, there was a power cut here. We have to keep opening the lines and the creativity lines for great ideas. I'll tell you a few things that some operators do that show that they're really thinking, they're really adding more to their cap. They're really exploring bigger costs, bigger ideas. And what is that? People are adding on new lines to their businesses. I know I speak here as a business operator, but I'm not as the CEO of Sweet Sensations. So I will talk generally about what people do and not what we do. For example, you must have seen eateries that have incorporated gaming for families into their businesses. They have opened up arcade game facilities in some of their locations that have space. You would notice also that some operators, you know, also have bakeries. They have concentrated a bit on healthy food and actually have an healthy food line. You will notice that some operators are also investing in space management, offering spaces for people who want to use them. Some of our restaurant operators are now into the business of lounges. And that is an extra delivery along the path of food delivery. So, and the earlier speakers also spoke about packaging, which I will not be able to say much about any longer. But I want to tell you that new entrants into this business are the luckiest entrants. Please take note of this. Post-COVID times, this emphasizes physical business locations and encourages products to meet consumers at home. In other words, the overheads that are carried by operators that have big business spaces and therefore have huge overheads in terms of energy, generators, staffing, and all that. This is the time for people who are interested in food service to come into it. You can cut 50% of your costs down by operating. I know of caterers that operate from nicely constructed sheds at the back of their houses. They cut off many things. They cut off huge labor costs. They cut off energy costs. They cut off infrastructural costs. The only cost added is also a cost added by the big players as well. So both of you, the big player and the small player, is incurring that cost of delivery, especially now when the market is more of delivery. So what am I saying? It's that with very low cost of entry, the capital cost is lower now. And I have mentioned to Etannei Ventures, that is the organizers of this, that there will be more sessions where we will guide people in layouts of their operations in such a way that it makes the operations easier and better. I don't want to say much more about packaging because packaging is in a new dimension now. People may be selling not too good food, but selling it in packages that are so attractive, that are appealing to the eye and that are appealing to the customers. Sometimes the customers will taste the meals and say, this is all about packaging. This meal may not taste as good as some meals they have been eating before, but I just like the way it feels. I like the way it looks. I like the appeal to me, myself. And I like to be able to show off that I'm eating from this packaging. Packaging is a big thing. And like I was talking about creativity before, creativity is so important in the business. And I want to say something to the audience here. Can somebody warn me when my minutes are exhausted? Have I gone beyond so I can wrap up quickly? You see, people think that creativity has to come from some special, some expert who's going to come and advise you on how to be more creative. Creativity is common sense, people. Creativity is common sense. Know the mind. Sorry?
You have 5 minutes, ma'am.
5 minutes more?
Yes,
or
ma'am.
Thank
5
you.
more minutes.
Okay, so creativity is common sense. It's just about studying your customer and adjusting to the needs of your customer. And not just that, after having studied your customer, you now go above and beyond to the things that your customer has not even imagined. Even the word of God says above and beyond the expectations that we ever had. That is what creativity is about. So I know people, I know people who do other businesses apart from food and have come up with serious creativity, and the customers have no choice than to embrace them. They love them. And and they even compliment them and say, wow, you have won my heart. The whole business of food is to win our customers' hearts. And no matter how big our businesses are, because sometimes we see, and I must emphasize this, sometimes when a business is really big, because our workforce become representations of what the business mission and vision is. Sometimes there can be disappointments from how we are represented by the workforce, which takes me to the next thing. In business, we are not in business unless we have a very good control of the workforce. Training is part of this creativity. You have to continuously train the people, knowing what the Nigerian problem with quality of good staff is. It cannot be an excuse that this staff continuously misrepresents a brand. You need to get rid of people who misrepresent your brand, or make sure that the continuous training they receive reflects in them. If it doesn't reflect, you have to get rid of them, because that has become a major cause for a fall in many operators. So workforce management also has its own side of keeping up with your workforce. You must be responsible to your workforce. You must manage them well, you must remunerate them well, and you must encourage them well. And you will find out that the turnover of staff is high with many, many organizations now. It's because the staff in the environment that they are, where inflation is so bad now, the money they earn today, even when salaries are increased, can no longer buy what it was buying yesterday. So the staff are no longer as loyal. They jump to the next person who wants to hire them, or who wants to poach them, or who wants to pretend to be hiring them at higher costs. Many of them even end up getting there and find out that it was a gimmick. Then they are trying to come back and they cannot come back any longer. So it's very important that we pay and remunerate our staff properly to the extent that the business can afford. You cannot pay to workers what the business cannot afford. But it is wrong to be able to afford some levels of remuneration and then you refuse to do that because you want to keep all the profit to yourself as an operator. It is good to pay your workers well so that they don't have need to leave. One of the last things I want to say about the right direction to go in a post-COVID environment, taking advantage of all the things, opportunities of post-COVID, is accounting. Accounting. Many people think accounting is about getting on top of your profit figures. Oh, this is how much I've made. Oh, this is how much the organization has made. And it's just about profit, profit, profit. Good accounting systems. People will have to learn about the most important accounting focus for their business. Good accounting systems is what helps you to understand and evaluate your performance in business. It is not about saying at the end of the month that this business made so millions in profit. No, it's more about you understanding your business more. The proper accounting indices or the proper accounting indicators will tell you the areas where your business is doing well, the areas where your business is not doing well, will tell you where your figures are. Your cost of goods sold will tell you that, wow, you're selling at 10 naira. And then your cost of goods sold is already 8 naira without your overheads. That tells you that something is wrong with your pricing policy or something is wrong with your purchasing policy. It will tell you the things you need to adjust. And I tell you, business is not run on sentiments. It's run on realities that you see in your books. So those kind of things will tell you, wow, something is going wrong here. If I'm selling at 10 naira and I'm even still paying VAT at 7.5% of that 7.5% of 10 naira, and I'm paying consumption tax at 5% of that 10 naira. And I already have a cost of goods sold, that is the cost of the inputs that you use in your cooking, already has gone to 8 naira. Just know that you will soon be destroyed. So accounting is so important. And that is why the issue of making losses to make gains, I want to talk very briefly about that. And that is that when you make losses to make gains, it is permissible. You can have an outlet that's not doing too well. As long as the losses are not deep enough to erode the profits that it is contributing to another outlet. For example, you could have a business department that is just borderline. It is just it's just breaking even. But that business is a serious contributor to your main business. I'll give you an example. There is a gaming business that some of our operators are into. The gaming business is very slow on weekdays. As a matter of fact, even on Saturdays, it's not great. It is on Sundays that the gaming business is true business. In other words, when you look at your outlay in the gaming machines, you see that you can't cover your investment in those machines for years. But what does the gaming business do on weekends? It brings much, much more people to your business, to your food business, than you would otherwise have had if you didn't have the gaming business. And that is what I'm talking about, bringing different aspects of a business together. You are not permitted to be perpetually in loss, but you are permitted to make some losses in order to make some gains. Then I want to talk about collaboration, and that's the last thing I will talk about. This is not a time in the business life of Nigeria or the economic life of Nigeria for people to think they can always do everything by themselves. I can succeed by myself. I can make this move by myself. Of course, we all have to have self-determination to be profitable and to be successful. But we can see that we can make exponential progress by collaborating with others. You can do things with a Coca-Cola, do things with Maltina, do things with people who have something to offer or the other, enter collaborations with people, with schools, with agencies, with all sorts of businesses. There's nothing that cannot mix as long as it contributes to business success. So the conclusion of what I have here to say today about the sweet and sour of any business environment is that the sour is what propels the sweet. Competition is one of the sour things in the business today. There's so much infiltration of the food business. So whereas people say, oh, yes, everybody eats, there's so much infiltration of people who don't have overheads with people who do have high overheads, high taxes. The people, the formalized sector, the formal sector of the economy is where the government focuses on its tax from. They hound you, they press on you, they force you to do so much in terms of taxes. Whereas the not so organized sector escapes. I have many friends who are in the business of food who don't pay taxes, who don't have overheads, who don't have all these distractions. And that's why I'm saying, even if they do, very minimalist compared to what their exposure should be. I would want the listeners on here to take the advantage of this period to be sure that once you carve a niche for yourself, one person asked a question, how do I repackage my business? There was a person who asked that question. Just find a niche for yourself. Do something that you are doing already, but incorporate something that other people are not doing in your style, in your marketing style, in your service style, in the way you approach your customers, in what you offer to your customers. That will make you different from others. And therefore, you'll be able to reboot your business. The organization, the organizers of this program, at the very last minute, mentioned to me to say something about export business. Of course, you know that we are not in export business, but I know a lot about food export business. But I had told them it cannot be compressed in the 15 minutes given to me. If they want us to talk about it, then they would have to express it and tell me how many minutes they can add to this. And I will deliver to those who came to this program on the expectation that they were going to receive at least some direction in food export. Thank you for your time. And I think I want to hand over back to Philippa to continue with her very, very efficient supervision of this program. Thank you, people.
Thank you so very much, Mrs. Kamson. Thank you so very much. This wealth of knowledge is overwhelming already. But Etannei says to tell you, you have 10 minutes and you can add the 10 minutes. You can add the exports part of it that you prepared. Or if you think we could reorganize this webinar again and look strictly at the export side of food business. What do you suggest, ma'am? I'm throwing it back to you.
Over the night, she had mentioned to me that a lot of people came with that expectation. So what I did was just to wake up early this morning, clear my thoughts about it, and I can do a 5 to 7 minute delivery. However, I immediately contacted a friend who is very much into export business of foodstuffs, and she has been able to commit her time to the next webinar to go into full details. But for the sake of the request I got from Etannei this morning, I would quickly, just some bullet points I have down, I'll expatiate on it in about 7 minutes and I'll be through with it.
No problem, ma'am.
Now,
7 minutes then. Let's keep it rolling. I know we are already watered, and a lot of people are, straining to hear more, no doubt.
Okay. I'll keep it within 7 minutes. I'll try and keep it within 7 minutes. So by my estimation, by my impression, I know that export food business is in about 2 different categories. There's the higher, more capital involving aspect of it that is in cash crops like rubber, cashew, cocoa, sesame seed. As you know, rubber comes majorly from the east now, cashew from the middle belt, cocoa from the west, and sesame seed from the north. And that one, if you don't have up to about 15 million, don't even try, because that one is done in tons, and you would need a high capital outlay. But the more relevant to the people who have less capital is that export in foodstuffs. And that you can even start as a trial with as little as 200,000 naira. you can start with that. And that will be in products like egusi, ogbono, gari, beans, elubo, even provisions, that is finished products made by manufacturers in Nigeria, because those people in the diaspora, they sometimes prefer the Nigerian versions of fully manufactured products like peak milk in the can, powdered milk, Milo, Golden Morn, custard, and a couple of things made by manufacturers in Nigeria. So that is included in what we call foodstuffs. And the first step to doing that is, look, according to my friend who gave me a little brief this morning, she did say, whoever is interested in this kind of business should just go straight to NEPC, which is the, I think, Nigerian Export something. NEPC is the export body, and register. It's Nigerian Export Promotions Council. It is. They're in Apapa, but you can register online. I think there are two different types of registration. One is 13,500. So with your registration and payment online, you can now visit their office, show your payment and collect your certificate. In other words, certification is important. Decide on the products you are interested in. And how do you export a product without having done your market research? How much you are going to sell will determine what you want to do here. You can't just jump into exporting products without finding out the market prices that you're going to sell in whatever part of the world, whether it's in the UK or the US or in Canada or wherever that your products are. You cannot just open and say you want to start doing export without having a good foundational knowledge of the market. And this does not necessarily mean you travel. Of course, you can use your friends' infrastructure to obtain the prices that these things are sold in supermarkets in their neighborhoods, African stores all over the place, in US, in the parts that are African, high in African population and all that. And then you can now imagine that maybe the people who are selling have added a 25% or some, and then you scale down to know what price you may be able to sell to them. And then walk that path backwards towards all the other costs you are going to incur from your base in Nigeria. So when you put those figures together, you take a product, this is how much you're buying per kilogram. And this is how much you're going to spend to process it, to the type of processing that's required. Then this is how much it's going to cost you to ship it abroad. Sometimes if they are light items that are not heavy and that have great value, air freight may be possible. But if they are heavy items that have low value, then you are likely to be shipping by sea. So without going into too much details, you have to think of packaging. There are international packaging standards. You must package well, you must seal well, it must be airtight, it must be properly labeled. In cases where the foreign market does not know what the local name is, you have to write the biological name of the product. So when you write egusi on your product, you must also write the biological name that they know it by. And you must write manufacturer date, expiry date. All those things must be visible in your packaging, the weight as well, and the name of the company or the person who has packaged it together. These are international packaging standards that will show the weights, and in some cases they even go as far as nutritional information, but that is not a requirement at this moment from NAFPAC or the export body. So locally in Nigeria, there are some permits to take from NAFDAC. If you process your foods, you must take a permit from NAFDAC. For example, if you have gone to further grind your crayfish it must have a NAFDAC certification for all these items that are processed. And you need a quarantine kind of tables items that is obtained from the government agency at NACO. And then for things like fish, dry fish, you need a certification from Nigeria Seafood or Fisheries Agencies. They also have an office at the airport. So you must also have agents that help you through this freight process. A secret that my friend told me is that most of the officials of NACO have themselves become agents to interested business people. And that way they're able to facilitate and fast track. They have quicker access into NACO to do the things that you want them to do. And then in all your financial projections, you must project that at the destination, you pay a handling charge of about $80 to $100. There, Obama, we are still enjoying Obama's coverage.
Hello, ma'am.
Not,
Hello.
yes.
Hello, ma'am. We want to see you again. You're already letting everything out. How would we get more people to come in? I'm going to stop you here. You know why? This program has to re-air, and this wealth of information will be garnered, not on this platform today. So for all of you taking notes, I'm going to stop Mrs. Kamson right now because we need to have another session. Mrs. Kamson,
Okay. I was
I'm standing at attention. I am doffing my hat, but I am telling you right now that there has to be another webinar on this. I am all filled up. I don't even have where to write again.
Let me tell you something. I was going to round up in 30 seconds.
Go ahead, ma'am.
And I had already mentioned to you that I committed a friend who is a practicing exporter.
Whoa, I've
already committed her to this program. She will certainly show up upon request by Etannei Ventures.
I'm hungry already.
So I am rounding up right here. By the last statement I made is how I'm rounding up.
Yes.
That the little secret she dropped was NACO officers being agents.
That secret that I don't want you to share.
It's already out. Because
if you share it, I will be hungry to hear the next, to be at the next session. I'm hungry for the next session already.
I've already shared it, and there will be no other secrets from my end. It will be divulged by other speakers at the next session. So I'm really glad to have been here, and I thank the organizers for giving us an opportunity to impact upon those who have interest in the food space, and we look forward to further collaborations in the future. Thank you, people. God bless you.
A round of applause to all of us speakers. I'm doing it physically. You can do yours animated. We celebrate all of our speakers, Dr. Seyi Olarenwaju, Madam Susan Chisom, and here, Mrs. Kehinde Kamson. Oh my God, thank you so very much. It's been a wonderful session today. Honestly, I am amazed. Haven't we had an amazing time today? Of course, we've had an amazing time today. Mrs. Kamson, if we have to bring you in again in the next session, we sure will draft you in. we sure will draft you in. All right, let's quickly look through a few things that I gained. It's important that there are sweet stories and also there are sour stories, no doubt. But I heard in all of this that the sour propels the sweet. So if our business is all sweet and there are no stories, you understand, to help us jumpstart, to keep us refocused, then we need to look in. There was something when I read off on your profile, there's that last thing I still am cashing on. Learning must be lifelong, but the lessons of the earliest years are critical. And I know that's been the story of Sweet Sensation, and that's the story most of us would like to, imbibe. Look at where we are coming from, and use it to enhance our today as it affects our businesses. Okay. I want to quickly say to the participants, Etannei has they have come up with a mentorship forum, but I'll say that quickly after we take a few questions. We're not going to take so many questions because I believe this session has been very concise, in delivering. I understand. You understand that certain things we must do, you understand, to ensure
your phone has no data connection.
To ensure that our business keep moving. So if you have questions, please raise your hands. Let's quickly do that. We're okay. I have questions from Anthony Agomeke. Shoot, sir. Unmute and ask your question. Anthony, if there are more questions, please let us know. Okay, I have John Akerele. If John is ready, please unmute yourself and ask the question. Is John available?
Yes, good morning, everybody.
Okay,
and thank you, Madam Kamson,
please
for
shoot.
this.
Let's hear your
Madam
question,
Kehinde,
sir.
thank you very much for your session. For me, I'm a farmer, and most times networking with food vendors like Sweet Sensation is always an issue for us. And I want to ask, how do farmers, we have the farm produce and you are like the end user that gives food to people. How can we work together better so that we know that all of our farm produce from the farm can come directly to you or can be distributed to all of your outlets where they can be utilized as fresh as it is from the farm? That's on one angle. On another angle, I want to ask questions as to post-COVID era and how private delivery logistic business owners can partner with food vendors as to food deliveries. You are doing the food, but can you also look at outsourcing? And if you're looking at outsourcing the delivery of foods, how can private individuals who are also into logistic business partner with your firm to make sure that food are delivered on time to the final consumers? These are my two questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Anthony. Any more questions? Anthony, do you still want to ask your question?
Yes, ma.
All right, please go ahead. So
Thank you
Mrs.
very
Kamson
much,
can
ma.
fit everything at once.
Yes, ma. Yeah, thank you very much for this wonderful lesson dropped to us this afternoon, this morning and this afternoon. I know God will strengthen us more. So, ma, please, my question goes straightly to what Mommy K has taught us this afternoon in regards to the fact of the fact that the fish, one of the points I really want to say is that the fish produced in Nigeria is never enough to even feed Nigeria. That tells us that the market is very large. But ma, please, I want to ask a question. Me, I'm a fish farmer, and now I have this thing under the market with what they are buying from us. It looks as if we are spending more on rearing the fish to harvesting point, and it seems nothing is coming in, to a point of discouragement. So ma, how can we be bringing our fish down to where, or the market where it will be more appreciated? Thank you very much, ma.
Will that be all the questions at the moment?
Thank you very much. Okay, can we take questions from Oluwafunmilola Taiwo? And I also have from Elizabeth Alfred. Well, let's take Oluwafunmilola right now, quickly. Your question, please.
Ma'am, my question is concerning what Mr. Anthony said earlier.
Could you please speak up so we can hear you, Oluwafunmilola?
Earlier, he asked a question from the copy of the record. Can we have it? And the second, we don't have it. Can the organizers make a platform for this program?
Oluwafunmilola, I can't hear you. Mrs. Kamson, can you hear her?
No, I can't. I just heard her say something about the organizers.
You know what you'll do for us, so that we can attend to your question. Can you drop it on the chat box?
Can you hear me now, ma'am?
Question on the chat, okay?
Can you hear me now?
Go ahead, go ahead.
Okay, Mr. Anthony asked a question earlier on that can we get a copy of the recording? That's number one. Number two, I want to ask this favor from the organizer. If this program can continue, if they can make a platform for this program to continue.
Okay, noted, ma'am. Noted, ma'am.
All right.
Thank you. Okay, can we have Alfred? Elizabeth.
Bluetooth device is ready to pair. The Bluetooth device is...
Elizabeth,
Good
Alfred, are you
everyone.
there?
I'm here.
Okay, please
Good
ask your
afternoon.
question quickly.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. My question is on that export business. I don't know if there is any way, anyway, you have said it that there's going to be more of the webinar for the export. Fine, we are waiting for it.
Yes, there will be.
But is there any way in which that some agents can come on board that can enlighten us more, or that we can register with? Thank you. That's all.
Okay. All right. Noted too. Okay. Mrs. Kamson, there's something I'd like you to do for us. Could you please also share the link of Respond?
Okay, we'll do that.
People asking. Yes. Thank you, ma'am. Okay. The questions, ma'am, for you to attend to.
Okay, I start with the gentleman who talked about farm products to the table of restaurant owners, and why it is a problem for them that they experience problems in establishing good relationships with restaurant owners. Can you hear me?
We can hear you, ma'am.
Okay. The gentleman has a problem with establishing good relationships from the farm to the table of the restaurant owners. And I'm going to say something to you. There is nothing stopping you from having a business relationship with any restaurant or group of restaurants. Your limiting factors are the limiting factors affecting any business owner. Number one, your price must be right. So for as long as restaurant owners are getting cheaper prices in Mile 12, they will not buy from you. For as long as restaurant owners are getting better quality from mile 12, and of course, all of us know what mile 12 is. Mile 12 is our market, all right, where we buy perishable items from. While we also buy from other sources, but mile 12 is the farmer's market. So if your price is right, your delivery network is right, your quality is right, and you are ready to take these products around, then you will not have a problem with establishing business relationships with any restaurant. Number 2 question was logistics to support any restaurant. I want to tell you today that there is no restaurant operator that is doing logistics of their food purely by themselves. No. What many people, some outsource that service to logistics people, and some do a combination thing. So there is no reason why you cannot also partner. What really causes there to be problems for you to ignite and achieve that relationship is the normal business limitations, which is your service, your quality of service, then the fact that there are other people there already. I forgot to mention that for the farm products person. There are already many people inside. So many of them are already inside. To add more to join those who are inside is a problem. It's not easy to do that because they will also complain that the company is diluting the system in such a way that it is no longer beneficial to them. The other question that came from the fish farmer, who alluded to the fact that the fish product in Nigeria is not meeting up the needs of Nigeria, and that he is finding the business of fish farming no longer profitable. I want to believe that it may be true, but I also want to believe that if other people are succeeding at it, managing their self-survival at it, it means that there must be some things that you still need to do to make it better. One thing I know for sure is that farming, especially of catfish, is so oversaturated. And I am not sure whether there's beginning to have, there's now a market effect that is coming against the farmers. I don't know about fish farming. All I know is that whatever you have as a product, if it is good and the price is right, and there are already not too many people in that particular space you're trying to penetrate, then you will be able to survive. You may need to talk to successful fish farmers to guide you on the next step forward. Now, the question by the lady is not my question, it's the organizers, and they have answered the question. Now, the last question was about export. I beg to ask again what that question was. I think I have forgotten what the export question was.
She wanted to know if, she just wanted to know more things about the next program. And I think she, where is that now? Okay, I think she just said something about hoping the platform will continue, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, if, you know, I think it's Oluwafumilola that asked that question. And it's actually what we have talked about, that this particular webinar has come to stay. And by the next time we're having another session, it will be on exportation.
Okay,
that was what I was trying to find out. I have two people, ma'am, let me take a few minutes of your time again. I have two people wanting to ask questions. I have Becky Oluwo. Are you there? Do you still want to ask your question? Becky? There's also another man, Ademola Adright. Could you please unmute and ask your question if you're still there? Okay, in the absence of no further questions. Okay, it says, my name is Ademola Adright. Could you please ask your question? You're still in the house.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ademola.
Thank you, the organizer. Thank you. My name is Ademola Adright, and I'm the president of Gold Mine Growers. It's a multipurpose cooperative. We focus on agri and some other aspects of value chain of the agriculture. We've been in this business for quite a number of years, 2013 to be precise. And now my question, I said, my name is Ademola Adright.
Okay, ask your question. Thank you. Ask your question.
We have a challenge.
Did you get his question on the PowerPoint? Okay, I think we may have lost that connection. Okay, Chiamaka, please unmute and ask your question.
Okay, good morning, everybody. My question goes, I hope I get the pronunciation right. RESPAM, the organizations, you said anybody that wants to join the food industry should register. So I want to confirm for starters like us, if we're to go in, what does it entail to go into the organization, and what's the disadvantage if you don't go into it? Because what me I'm going for, I'm not going fully for food, but I'm going for grills and things like that. So I want to just know what it entails, what's the advantages for joining and the disadvantage for not joining. Okay, thank you.
Okay, to answer that question very briefly, the association is not an organization, it's an association, is not for any forceful kind of membership. It is for the free will of an intending operator to join. I can tell you that the major brands in quick service restaurants are in this association. So when you talk of the Chicken Republic, Sweet Sensation, Tantalizers, Tasty, Magrello's, name it. Except some of the franchises that came from abroad, but even some of them are with us. So, and I know that you are starting your business small. So I do not want you to think that membership is for big people. Membership is for anybody who has fully established their businesses. You don't join to become an operator. You become an operator to join. You need to have put your business in place and established your business. And at that point, you can join, which means you can join day one after you've established your business, or wait till month 3. What do you stand to gain when you join? It is like what we are doing here. The association has different platforms for training, not training to become a business person, but training to sustain your business. So the kind of thing you have here going on here is not what you will have in the association. The association doesn't teach people how to become business people, how to go about becoming business people, but it will teach you the things you need to know to sustain your business and take it to a next level. It will give you things like training on food safety, training on quality control, training on safety, fire, training, all those kind of trainings are, offered majorly free. And sometimes you pay for them. It also is a basis, is a platform for collaboration with government. One big thing that people don't know is that once you become a business operator, the government is, you are working with the government 24/7. You cannot run away from the government. Ministry of Environment will come and be your, what's it called? Will be your, what's the word now? Regulator, will be your regulator. NAFDAC is your regulator. Physical planning is your regulator. All the arms of government, you can't do anything in that business without considering the standards that have been laid by government. When you're a member of REFSPAN, it makes it easier for you to understand these things and to go collaborate with government. And where the government is charging people higher fees, REFSPAN members are charged lower fees. Even LOMA, LOMA is forced to collect all your waste. So we enjoy slightly cheaper rates with LOMA than other people enjoy with LOMA. So that is what it is. It's an advocacy platform. It's a collaboration platform. It's an opportunities platform. And you can imagine all of us sitting next to each other, the owner of this business with the owner of this business, also with their workers, their workforce. Maybe 2 or 3 of their representatives are also there. It's really a wonderful family. And it is, somebody asked for the contact information for REFSPAN. Can you just take down the phone number of the executive secretary, which is Mr. Tunde Ogun, the executive secretary for REFSPAN. And that number is 0803 961 2198. 0803 961 2198. He will immediately furnish you with all the information you need, whether it is website information, social media information, address of the REFSPAN secretariat, and everything. He will furnish that to you and even tell you what it involves to be a member in terms of annual fees and all that. All the information will be provided.
Thank you very much, ma'am, for the information we just received right now. However, we've officially come to the end of the program, but not before I mention that to all our participants. Please, in the chat box, there's a feedback form. Please fill it up. There's also opportunity for mentorship. Oh, let me talk about that. The organizers of this program, in collaboration, with permission rather, from the speakers, have limited slots for mentorship. But this is what you're going to do. Fill your feedback form, send an email. It's also on the platform, on the chat. Reflect your name and let us know what you project for your business in the next 5 years. However, if you meet the criteria, you will be picked for mentorship. That means you will have an opportunity to be mentored by Dr. Seyi. You have an opportunity to be mentored by Madam Susan Chisom. You have an opportunity to be mentored by Mrs. Kamson. But you have to indicate the area you will be needing mentorship. Please tell participants, okay, okay. Please do not drop your emails on the chat box. For security reasons, you're being requested not to drop your emails in the chat box. Please, it's very important. You matter to us, so that we can protect you as well. Another thing I'd like to say is, please keep a date with us. Soon we'll be having another webinar, and we'll be having more seasoned speakers. You know, Mrs. Kamson already said she has a friend of hers on standby already. So in the okay, to all of our speakers, please, if you have any other thing you'd like to say to us, please do send to us, to you, the participants. If you have any announcement, if you have anything you'd like to also want to know, please send to us. The information is already in the chat box. Okay, this is where we wrap it up, and we say a great thank you to all of you that joined this webinar. I believe you have learned a lot, because I have learned a lot. I want to say a big thank you to all of our speakers. It's been wonderful all the way, not a dull moment all the way through. And to you food lovers, keep being creative. To you in the farming business, don't relent. We heard all that has been said. It's good information. So keep being who you are. Keep being great at what you do. And we'll see you next time. Thank you very much. Remember, it's the Etannei Ventures post-COVID opportunity in the food industry. Thank you so very much. Have a good afternoon.